Women are literally driving the human race towards extinction at the moment in the biggest case of fuck around and find out the world has ever seen, by refusing to have kids because they don't like the way men treat women and they don't like the way that society treats mothers. And so they're like, you know what, instead of having kids and continuing the human race, let's just go extinct. Like, let's just all go extinct.
The fuck? So we are having a question and a discussion of our entire existence based on appreciation. You know, this is ridiculous. All right, like, not to say that her point is valid. I think she's speaking more. I think girls typically do this, like, where, I mean, some people as well that are, you know, not sophisticated. I'm not saying girls are not sophisticated, but I like people who invest in their brain, take their personal experiences and attribute it to the overall population. So we'll get to that a little later. But saying the humanity should disappear because you don't feel appreciated, it's crazy to me. I cannot be alone in this. But she keeps going.
Like, I don't care if my uterus is all that stands between, like, us and extinction. I'm not doing it. It's not worth it for me. So I'm not going to do it. And this is happening everywhere. Like, they reckon that by the year 2050, 75% of nations will be in the same situation. And by 2100, the year 2100, it'll be 97% of nations.
Who reckoned? You know what I'm saying? She's speaking like Trump in 2016. There's a lot of illegal immigrants coming to the border. There's a lot of... Who reckoned? Like, she doesn't even say her source, but she gives you all these crazy stats. The population is in a decline, which is not true. You know what I'm saying? Like, check out what India is dealing with. They were like 1.2 billion a couple years ago. Now they're like the same with China. Just saying that with all shit instinct, though, like, that's wild. Who heard this lady?
When they're asking women in South Korea, why are you doing this? In part, they're saying they don't like men. They don't like the way that men treat them. And they're like, why would I have a kid with this idiot? Like, why would I breed from this idiot? Why would I pass this idiot's DNA on?
Okay, that second part right there feels a little bit more anecdotal. You know what I'm saying? It's those Korean girls did not say that. The Korean women on that, I reckon, they reckon, source did not state that. No research ever included like anything with that kind of language in it. So, like I said, she's taking her own personal experience and kind of imply that that's the case, which is not true. And the funny thing in this situation is the person that started this dilemma, this is none other than the drama king himself, Elon Musk. You know, Elon Musk started this with this post that he did. He posted it saying, "This is extremely concerning." And the post said, "Something is broken in our culture. Why is this happening?" And then the stats goes, 45% of women estimated to be single and childless by 2030. Recent data predict that 45% of women between the age of 25 and 44 will be single and childless by the time 2030 rolls around. The number of single women in the US is expected to rise by 1.2% every year. So, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, this data does not really help with anything. Single and childless. So that doesn't include women who went to get married and divorced before they had kids. Those who, you know what I'm saying? So, sure, people are having a discussion of whether to have children or not based on their income level and the cost of living and the fact that it's super expensive to raise a kid, especially in a single family household, which is it's the impossible to do. So that's one of the questions that, you know, some people have, and they have a fair point about that, because childcare is expensive as heck. It's pretty much the same as rent. I couldn't imagine having to deal with that. And on top of that, all the food costs has gone up in the recent years due to the inflation and stuff, and the wages being pretty much stagnated for the lower class people working jobs and shit. So that's more of an issue. So economic stress is the main driving force, and people that will not know that would be so out of touch with this in reality, it's none other than Elon Musk, because last time I checked, he's the richest person on the planet.
Forever, we have been told that all we're good for is having children, but also that that's not really that important, because it still doesn't make us the default gender. It still doesn't make us the important gender. It's men who get to earn all the money and have all the fun. They're the ones who get to keep all of their leisure time. They're the ones who get to own most of the world's land and speak most of the world's words. Because we're just women and mothers, and that's not that important. And so why would we do it? Like, why would we do it?
I don't understand what exactly she means by we get to have all the fun and we get to have all the leisure time and we get to... First of all, women, like men, makes up society. So when she's saying forever, we've been told, who has told you that? You know what I'm saying? Like, we make up society. So anything that constitutes society, it's an involvement of two people, two parties. You know, a guy has to ask a girl to marry them, and the girl has to say yes. You know, you cannot just go and marry a girl. You know what I'm saying? And rarely girls ask guys to marry them. So this is a consensual relationship that exists, and this imaginary men and women that makes up society, who she seems to distance herself from, is fiction. She may have made some poor decision in her life by picking some dude who she shouldn't have picked, and then suffer the consequence later on, which she did. Then she ended up attributing that's all the man. It's not really good. It's not really nice. You can look at her, you can tell like she used to look very good whenever she was younger. So you could tell she probably got like a ton of attention as well. And most guys that would make advances on girls that look nice like that are usually the wrong guys. Okay, most of the good guys will be pretty shy, and whenever they manage the courage to come up and say something, these girls usually just brush them off, and that really kills them inside. So she made a poor choices, and now she's just mad at all men that existed, minding that whatever she's staying at right now was probably built by a dude, a man who had a family to support. You know what I'm saying? Like, be so for real. So what do we need to do to fix this? What do us men need to do to fix the relationship we have with her? I never met her in my life, but she already have an assumption about who we are in general.
Instead, so here's the thing. If you don't want to go extinct, you better beg us to start having kids, and you better make it worth our while.
See that bullshit? Hold on. We need to beg. Like what kind of nonsense is that? Why do you want a guy to beg you? That is just so weird. It's like us saying the same thing to girls, like, hey, we need you to beg for our support or for our financial security. Like, that is so bizarre, you know, because that's pretty much what we exchange, right? Like, you know, you give us the baby, we give you safety, stability, and amongst other things, you know, balance your energy, you balance our energy. Like, we just work just like nature intended. And she's over here talking about we need to be begging. Oh, hell no. I'm not saying like we are arrogant or anything, but that's just pretty extreme, you know. Like, you could tell, like, yeah, no, she's tripping for sure.
Women need to be recognized for their importance, not just in terms of having children, but everything glorious that they bring to this world. Because we've been told for all this time that, like, it's not us, it's not you, you're not the important ones. Like, you guys aren't the key workers here. And now actually we're seeing that we are the key workers, and actually we are vitally important for the continuation of the human race.
Of course we recognize women are important to society, obviously. Without them, there won't be society. Like, they make up half of it. It's just two people makes up the whole civilization. So her saying they're not recognized is poorly worded. Women are recognized to be important. We all got mothers, sisters. Like, what? So again, that is pretty anecdotal. It sounds pretty specific to her, on her experience, either with the employment. She said, "We were not the key worker." Who uses those words when talking to girls or women? You're not the key worker here. What? Maybe they're running a different algorithm in the Britain or something. Because I'm pretty disconnected here. I appreciate women for life. They give us the life we have. They take care of us. They nurture us when we're young, make us feel, give us comfort, and all that good stuff that makes us human as a whole. So that is, whether you recognize it or not, it's pretty valuable. You got it. If you sitting, with a few cases where people, the resident foster who didn't get to experience that, but we all, if you have two parents, you experience that, and that was a work of a woman. So there's that.
Society has been run by men for all these years, and you have left us feeling underappreciated and unvalued for everything that we have to offer, including having children and raising them and raising the next generation. And we just don't want to do it anymore. And we're not gonna. Fuck around and find out.
She needs therapy, and she needs to work on all of the issues that she's had in her personal life, and not trying to push down the internet and infect people that haven't even started their lives yet. Because most people that are on the internet are usually between the age of 18 and 25. She looks like she's at least 35, going to 40. And she has hatred. And I saw in the comment section, people were kind of trolling a little bit. And then she said, yeah, she did have children. And then the men ended up leaving her. And you can see with her energy why a dude would pack and leave. Any of us will do the same. She looked very nice, but she probably make the guy feel like a competition, because as soon as you make things about competition, like not even like, like envy, like whenever you go to work and you come back home, you didn't feel that successful at work, and then you think your husband is having it easier because they're a dude, and then because of that you just start hating them for no reason, And then that energy that's over time, it get really toxic. And then the guy just freaking pack and leave. And then you're like, oh, why did he leave? Why don't you assess your inputs? Like, nobody ever leaves a good and nurturing relationship. Something that's productive, that's nurturing. Like, nobody will ever leave that. Like, if you have to pack and leave, that means it was toxic. But from my experience, from the girls I dated, they never see their fault. Never. Which is fine, because I do. I see that shit, and I also see my own, and I can recognize the pattern, and then I can actually create like an action plan to address it. But her over here, she is not the problem. You men are the problem. Get it together.